All right, there we go.
Yeah, my new thing is come back.
That's a new thing.
All right, so everyone's app should be working. If you go to Locos 3000, you should still see the same thing. Everything should work, no errors. That would indicate everything is set up properly. All good? All right. So what we could do now is, I think we're pretty good as far as setup goes. So we'll go ahead and add commit and push this, merge it to our master, and then start on something new. So we'll do git add. I'll say completed, initial server and client setup. And then we'll do git push origin setup. And once we've added, committed, and pushed, we should be able to go to our GitHub and then compare and pull request. And then we want to merge setup into master. So we'll say client and server setup. And then we'll go ahead and create the pull request. Got all those nice commits we'll get.
Ooh.
And we have quite a bit of files changed. We'll take a quick glance through these, just make sure that there's nothing nothing here that shouldn't be in here.
12,000 lines of code.
You never made that many, right?
All in a day's work.
Mostly it's NPM.
12,000 lines of code.
Once you're pretty happy with everything, we'll go ahead and merge pull request, confirm merge, and then we'll delete the branch. And once we got that all set up on GitHub, once it's merged and we've deleted the setup branch, we'll go back to terminal. We'll git checkout master. And we'll do git pull. And then we'll do git branch dash lowercase d setup. And that should delete the branch. Now it should be ready to go and start on a new journey. So we're going to build this probably in a little bit different way than you would with like a team of people. We're just going to kind of go through it like step by step, as since we're doing front end and back end. we'll kind of just build it pretty much one page at a time and just build out the resources we need as we need them. One of the very first things we're going to need, though, is user authentication. So we'll build out user auth first. That'll require us to do a little bit of setup on the client, get a nav bar going, stuff like that, and then we'll set up the backend for user authentication as well. Everybody good? We got the master all up to date, ready to go? So we'll create a new branch now. We'll say get checkout -b user.
Yeah, maybe my salty stuff.
So if you had like a group of people building this, you'd have people building out the front end. So you build out dummy data for the front end. We're going to kind of skip that because we could build out the back end and get data to the front end before we build it out. So a little bit different when you're building it by yourself. It's not necessarily bad to still do dummy data and all that. But since we're just kind of doing it as we go, we're going to skip that step. But once again, if you had more people working on it, you'd still want to do the dummy data and all that. But we can't do two things at once anyways, so I'm just going to go through it. All right. So first thing we'll do is we'll build out some stuff on the front end. I'm going to close all this. Inside of components, I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm going to say like account. You guys ready for some like quasi fancy like routing and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Inside of account, we'll make a new file called account_routes.js. And also inside of account, we'll make a new file called package.json. And in the package.json, we'll build an object that'll have a key of main. Remember, when you're building JSON, it has to be double quotes. And we'll say we want the main file to be account_routes.js.
Not the way to do a package.json file.
Don't have to. But we're changing the default file for this folder from being an index file to now it's account route. So now if we just specify account, it'll automatically load account routes.
It treats it like it.
Yeah, we're changing it from the default of index to be something else.
What's the point of doing that? Just call it index, right?
Could just call it index.
Okay.
But this helps avoid have 9,000 index files on your front end.
You're gonna have just 9,000, 8,000 indexes and 1,000 packages.
Yes, exactly. Choose your evil. Yeah.
Yeah, we're always putting it on our portfolios.
eBay?
All right. Inside of account, we'll make two more files. We'll make a sign_in.js, and we'll make a sign. Really should be create. I don't know. We'll call it sign out. Sign out.js. And then in sign in, we'll make a class component. We'll say import React component React. Class sign in extends component render return div with h1 with a classic center. Okay, sign in. Whose phone keeps going off? Shit's making me twitch. Extend, not extends. That's the one. Export default. Sign in. All right, then we're gonna be lazy and we're gonna select all, copy. And then we're just gonna paste that into sign up and just change everywhere it says sign in to sign up.
Yeah, really.
All right, so we'll jump over to sign up, paste that in, change the class name to sign up, change the H1 to say sign up, and export default sign up.
Can you see the package.json? Thanks.
Oh, you did something in package JSON already?
Where are you, Sasha?
I don't know, but not yet.
Wait, but this is the new package JSON.
I did. No.
It's inside the account. Did you build an account folder? Yeah.
I don't think Tiffany's got up. She's like some goldfish rage.
Good? All right, now we go over to account routes, and in account routes, we will create I think a functional component will do. React from React. Then we'll import sign in from this directory sign in. We'll import sign up from sign up. We'll also import route from React Rotterdam. And we'll do export default ops. I'll say console.log count routes. And then for the moment, we will just return H1 counts routes. And then. Good?
Nope. Yes.
Is that a yes for everybody?
Yep. Maybe. Maybe yes.
All right, now we'll jump over to our app.js. Up at the top, we will import materialize CSS /fist/CSS /materialize.min.css. And then we will also import materialize CSS /dist/js/materialize. I'm going to delete test and replace it with import account routes from this directory account. And then inside of test, we'll delete test. We'll do a div with a class of container. We will import route and switch from router DOM. And then here we will do switch. And then we will do route. We'll do path equals curly bracket, or not curly brackets. Path equals /count. Component equals curly brackets count routes.
So refresh me on the switch.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we'll explain the switch in a second. Let's do a quick sanity check.
You good or no?
should be able to go to localhost 3000. If we go to / account, we should see account routes.
I get this is test component.
You didn't delete it.
You delete
Oh,
it.
it's not saved. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you read me what is in the road?
Match.
Road what?
Which one do you need to see?
Scott,
Yes.
we didn't need to wrap. I mean, oh yeah, we didn't need to wrap necessarily the div with class container in that other div. We have just done that div container.
Yes, right now, but we're gonna put stuff up here outside of container.
Okay.
We just haven't done it yet. I was just planning ahead.
Yeah, it's also.
If you guys need to see any other files, let me know.
I know what I have to see.
You're like looking at the back of my head.
I had to charge my one.
You don't have a plug?
What?
You don't have a plug?
Oh no, I did, but I have to go soon. So.
I don't know we have that one.
See, trying to charge his last time.
Here, I'll come over there because I think other people need help.
What?
Oh, okay.
I've never had someone say that so forcefully at me. Come on.
You have trouble?
Is there something wrong with it?
What will those?
The whole thing or
go
just the portion?
to.
What are you watching, Banner?
It tastes good.
Terminal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it before.
It's like a walnut.
You're like, where's the gooey Cadbury Center?
I've had this before, but not from Korean cuisine, so.
You want me to start?
This cocoa holder need H1.
It's like a baked good.
No such directory.
It's red bean. It's red bean inside.
Well, I've had it, but not the red bean. This is one red bean.
What's it? Oh yeah.
Did you buy it or someone make it?
Oh no, my mom gave it something.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing, Evan.
Sharing culture.
Share your culture.
Oh,
I know. We haven't had any Iranian stuff.
You want some hummus or what?
Yeah. I want some bomb hummus.
Or some Persian cucumber?
What'd you say?
No, Persian cucumber. I'll bring in some nuts. My dad just got back and brought back these dried figs, really good dates, almonds, walnuts, pistachios. I'm actually.
I think you can figure it out.
Yeah, I think. Because now I know where it's coming from.
Or do you want to try some sweets? Something sweet or salty?
Surprising.
Because like they have a lot of the desserts or sweets are like with pistachio.
You
So I
did?
don't know if you like pistachio, but
Oh,
like it was like all the desserts pretty much pistachio or rose water or some type of like rose flavoring.
Depends on the account. Not the whole account. Account to the
Your side girl.
Brendan don't play that.
He's not about that life
Not anymore. He's saying that he used to have that dark lifestyle.
See, Brendan.
So he was about to ABG too.
This file is for me.
Just like Tiffany was at ABG back.
Well, yeah, that's why she's like slowly getting her brown hair back. It used to be all over before. She used to go to commissary and waltz work.
So,
Oh, you just learning, is that what you said?
My sister who goes to UC Davis, and I told her about ABG, and she was like, "Oh yeah, in San Jose, ABGs tend to gather at Dave and Buster's."
Yeah, oh really?
Dave and
I
Buster's.
gotta talk to Michael
up in
too. Maybe we
Northtown,
make a trip up to
it's
San
great.
Jose. Dave and Buster's.
That's like their
All
concept.
the ABGs at Conway and Dave and Buster's.
Dave Buster's at the San Jose one.
Ah,
So when you move up to Silicon Valley,
There's
you're-
certain nights where you go and then you see it just a whole mess of
You know what's funny?
Where?
Dave and
Michael?
Buster's.
I didn't know what ABG was until Michael
But one,
heard.
until who
the
does?
one in
Michael
Singapore.
heard. I learned about that.
Yeah, I learned about it from them. I didn't know.
I didn't know ABG until like 3 weeks ago.
You know, same time as-
Yeah, you guys are like, what do you mean you don't know? It's like, even them. It's
I'm older, that's why.
like, I mean, I have like Asian friends, but none of them ever brought up ABG. So,
everybody good down here? Or everybody good?
Yeah.
No, we're good. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, so the reason we use a switch is so we could make a default route, or better yet, a 404 page. So we'll make a quick 404 page. So inside of components, we're going to make a new folder called general. General, and then you could go in there and get car insurance. And then inside of general, we'll make another folder. This one we will call 404. And we'll make a file inside of it called 404.js. And in there, we'll do a new file of 404. Let's use SAS. So we'll say SCSS.
That fancy little.
I'll do a quick configuration update. That
No, S. So like,
all right, so we want to make sure we go to the client folder. Client folder. Yep, it's CSS, but starts with an S for super CSS.
Or sassy CSS.
or sassy
I mean,
CSS.
it's so nice, like some goofy thing.
It's a big fancy S. All right, so in the client folder, we're gonna do npm install -- save SASS-LOADER space node -SASS. Oh, wait. Don't hit enter. npm install -save -dev. These are dev dependencies. Make sure you're in the client folder. So Sass loader and node Sass. And we're going to save that as a dev dependency. So npm install -save -dev in the client folder.
Of course. I mostly do in the right place, but most of my things is misspelling.
Just double checking.
All right, once you think you got that, go ahead and hit enter. And then while that's installing,
How come it's SASS and SCSS? Are those separate or the same thing?
dude, slightly different syntax. Yeah. SCSS is much easier. All right, we're gonna go down to, we're gonna find the Webpack common file.
Well,
And then does anybody remember how you do 0 or 1 in regex? So S and then 0 or 1. Anybody remember? I think it's question mark, right?
so we need to go to this file or what?
Yes.
Webpack common
Where is that file?
on the client folder towards the bottom.
In the client folder.
Below the package JSON.
That's back. Now, JS.
It would have .common.js.
Yeah, it's question mark. Okay.
This is being recorded.
Yes. And I've been posting all the videos in the Slack channel.
Okay, I have to look at it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I even have on that line, I have CSS and you have.
I just changed it, Sasha. Just changed it, man.
Scott loves this.
All right, so we're at an S, at a question mark. So it's going to use these loaders for CSS or SCSS files. We're going to change loader. We're going to change it to use. And then we're going to wrap this in an array. Oops, that's not an array. An array. And we're going to say style loader, CSS loader. And we're going to say Sass dash loader.
This is all about configuring projects with use Sass.
Yeah, I've been meaning to just permanently set up the React starter to use Sass. I just haven't done it.
You find Sass easier to use?
I like it.
Well, we'll see if I like it.
Dude, it's almost the same.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very similar.
I know, I was joking.
Not funny. Not funny at all. Take my sass very seriously. Don't get sassy with the sass. All right, everybody got that? All right. So whenever we update any of the Webpack config, package JSONs, any of that stuff, we have to stop and restart the server. So find where your server's running. You know what? Also, let's do one more thing too while we're here before we restart it. Let's go to, can't see anything in here. I'm going to collapse the client folder routes. I'm going to go to the very, very root, very, very root. I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call it nodemon.json. And in it, I'm going to do, so this is in the very root directory, very root, not in client, not in client, so very root directory. We're going to do curly brackets, and then we're going to do ignore. And then inside of that, we're going to put that ignore to an array, and inside of that, we will say client. And the purpose of this is, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but as we're working in the front end, every time we save our files, it's restarting our backend server as well. We don't want it to do that. Not that it's necessarily hurting anything, but it's just a huge pain in the butt. So that tells nodemon to ignore the client folder, so it doesn't care about any file changes that happen in there. All right, everybody good there? Now we'll go back to the terminal, stop, and restart the server. And then in client, we'll go down to 404.js. And we'll make a simple functional component. So we'll import React from React. Then we'll say export default ops. And very importantly, I'm going to use parentheses to just return everything inside of here. And I'm going to do a div with a class of not dash self dash container. And then inside of there, I'm going to do another div with not dash found dash body. And then we'll put some text in here. We'll do like an H1 and we'll say 404 page not nope found. Hate it when that happens, when you hear something and you type out what you hear or whatever. All right, then we will import curly bracket link from React router DOM, and then we will also import from this directory our 404.scss. And then below our H1, we'll do a link And we'll say return home. Link to equals /. All right, how's everybody doing with the 404 page? All good? All right, so now we'll jump back to our app.js. App.js, we will import not found from this directory, general 404. We should have done the package JSON thing. So in the 404 folder, we're going to create a new file called package.json in the 404 directory, and then package.json, and then we'll do curly brackets, main, and then we'll do 404.js pointing to this particular file right here.
Can you go back to your app.js page?
Yeah, I'm going to. We weren't done there.
So what's the point of making a separate routes folder for account routes?
We didn't get there. We just haven't got to it yet.
I'm done.
All right, so now back over an app, we're going to import not found from period/general 404. It will automatically find that 404.js file because we added the package JSON. We might have to restart our server, but we'll see. And then inside of our switch, at the bottom, the order does matter. So at the bottom, we're going to do a route with no path and say component equals curly brackets, gosh dang, found. All right, we should be able to go to logos 3000, like random characters, and hopefully you see your 404 page not found. We'll add a little bit more styling to clean it up.
Are we clicking stop that? Isn't it just as a beautiful? Nothing is back.
Well, just we don't have a home page. So it's taking us back to the 404 page.
Scott, I think I forget what page we were on where we did the CSS dash loader because I'm having can't resolve exclamation mark CSS dash loader.
Webpack common. Yeah, so you need to get rid of the exclamation point.
That was inside a client.
Webpack common, yeah.
Okay, hold on.
You good, Sasha?
Let's see if that was it.
Should be.
Thank you.
Recheck on
I
the
recently learned that word.
Hello?
You'll have to restart the server.
Right,
for
use
that.
And what?
Right usage.
You, decorate. Yep, you decorate your crew.
Decorate? I never decorate actually. My wife does it.
Oh,
But she go today do some more shopping to read more books.
Is everybody able to see the 404 page?
I'm not.
Books.
On the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the lights?
Yeah, no lights, but like
Ornaments.
You gotta go to
Ornament.
a random
The stuff you-
logos 2000 / something
Yeah,
other than
yeah,
account.
It's just blank and my 3000 is blank also. And I'm not getting errors in the console. So I'm having errors. Link is not a void. Tag must be shown. So that is in React. Link was
You gotta
done.
specify it.
Here. This is where there's issues. I did it capitalized. It needs to be capitalized. That was it. That was it. Yeah. But that's on my local 3000 page.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Maybe on anything
You're
else.
Just got it?
We can help.
That's it.
Just kidding.
you just need
No
to
problem.
work with it.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
everything
thought
was
with all
sure.
the-
That was easy.
All good?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's add some quick styling to this. So we'll go to 404 SCSS.
CSS.
SCSS. And we'll do dot not found container. And we'll do display flex. And then inside of here, we'll do not dash found dash body. And we'll do margin auto. So you can see already we're doing something a little bit different than what we do with normal CSS. You can nest your classes, which ultimately saves you a lot of typing.
So
Because now this CSS property will only apply to a div or an element that has not found in body that is inside of not found container.
So we're trying to take selected element?
Well, it's still selectors. You're just nesting them. It's just a different way to write them because it still gets converted back to regular CSS. It's just an easier way to write it. So then we could add a whole bunch of other rules in here and stuff too.
is this it? There's nothing else different.
That's one of the main things. That you can use
Are
variables.
you unimpressed, dude?
No. I thought SAS would be something really hard to understand.
It's dude. It literally takes like 10 minutes to learn.
Okay.
It's super
That's cool.
simple. Yeah.
So I put that on my LinkedIn.
Yeah. We'll also add on the not found body. We'll do PQRST. We'll do text align center.
What's the route on the table? You see the localhost 3000/what?
Just random characters, dude. Yeah, just anything. Something we don't already have defined.
So write in Russian.
And then on the not found container, we'll do a height of 100 height. There you go. You should have a nice centered.
Scott, should you give your parent container that kind of defined height of 100 view height? Or should you just give your children sizes so that it makes up the photo?
I rarely set anything to height unless I have a reason for it. And this time the reason was so I could vertically center something. So the parent, I wanted to set to 100 view height so I could vertically center the contents.
What are you missing? What? Cool.
No, that was a good question. Don't give him crap. That was a good question.
Cool.
I have no problem.
Sasha, you be nice to Shri, all right?
Whoa! Somebody came to my defense. Holy shit!
Don't get used to it.
We're making Shri
How many?
Bay.
Shri Bay.
He's helping us your laptop to guys.
1, 2, Shri Bay.
I'm still got far from CSS, so I don't know what to be fast or not.
Oh, yeah, expert service.
I'll better ask questions like him, but I'm not there.
Yeah, you actually rarely want to set height. Unless you're building like a game or something like that. But a lot of times you don't want to set height to elements.
You want children to make up the height?
Well, the content. You want the content to make up the height.
I do that all the time.
No, you don't. Nobody in the beginning does that.
Nice try.
No, I mean, I do height on it a lot.
Yeah,
I use height a lot, that's what I'm saying.
that I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always trying to set sizes to crap.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll learn eventually how bad it is to try to set sizes into everything. It's messy real quick.
Real.
Messi is a good player.
Messi?
Yeah.
No one knows about soccer here, Sasha.
I know on FIFA 2015, he was like the best player to have.
It's like scoring.
That's all you need to know.
It's like FIFA 2010 through 19.
He still gets gold boot this year.
Hey,
My gold shoes.
Yeah, now you lost me. I don't know what gold shoes are.
He kicked more
He's
goals
got
than
getting
anyone again this year.
More home runs than anybody.
Yeah.
And more
So he,
players.
he
Yeah, you're stoked on that,
34
aren't you?
goals in 36 games. So that's really a lot.
In soccer, that's a whole hell of a lot. I know enough about to know that's a lot. What's up?
What are the other
I'm getting
games?
here that I cannot figure out.
It's a lot.
When's it supposed to be 9,000, not 3,000?
It's from Africa.
Okay.
Is it 3,000 or 3,000?
It's gonna work out
Oh.
today.
Nothing is reserved from render. This usually means return statement is missing.
And then I'm just gonna work. I studied it.
It's right there.
What are we talking about? Are we doing the review by Penny?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so these need to either be parentheses or you
Yeah, I don't think we should do it.
So the team said that
Yeah, that's
he would do a review of this tomorrow.
fine.
You wanna do that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't
We'll see
know.
how it goes.
But did you push what we had to show for?
Yeah.
all good?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it says that usually a return statement.
Yeah, you have because the parentheses are an implied return, but if you use curly brackets, then you have a normal function body, and you have to use a return statement. All right, so now that we have our nice little 404 stuff going, all that set up, let's go back to our account routes.js. And I'm going to do some wizardry. I'm going to up here put parentheses, curly brackets. I'm going to say match, colon, curly brackets, path. Delete the console log, otherwise it'll error out. And then on this return, We're gonna do parentheses. We need switch. So we need to include switch in our imports up the top. Oh, don't do that. Switch,
Easy, girl.
right? And switch. And then we're going to do route path equals curly brackets. Backticks, $ curly brackets, path / sign dash n. Component equals curly brackets, sign n. And we're going to pretty much just copy that and do sign up. And then change the path also to sign up.
The problem with my error function is it's not like that. You take props off.
And then we want to set up our not found here as well. So if someone comes to the account route and doesn't find something, so we want to import our not found component again. And I'm just determined to make it a note found from backup directory general 404. And then we'll do route component. Should have actually included it in the component. Oh well. Not found. Boom. Bing, bada boom. Okay.
So you're doing the not found underneath those other routes so that it's like for error handling if they pass the sign in or sign out or sign
If they just, yeah, so if they do / account / anything that's not, we don't have a route for, it takes them to a not found page.
Okay, but the reason that you did it on the sign in, sign out account, oh, okay, because this is for accounts / sign in.
Yep. So if we look at the way this is set up now, so here's our root routes. So from / account, we are loading this other component that's defining routes for us. So / account, and then / account / sign in / account / sign up.
If you didn't do that, you would have just copy paste those into the app.js.
Yeah, then I can hard code / account. This is much more maintainable.
Right.
Do you want to do the not found, the 404 page on like every instance?
Yeah, everywhere.
Every route?
Yeah, every routing file you have, you'll do a not found on it.
And just once again, it should be on the bottom of all the routes.
Yes, because it's like a switch statement. It goes through, and then the first thing it matches, it stops.
Is that literally what the switch?
Yeah.
So it checks that.
Yeah, it goes until it matches a route.
So we still don't have that in still in our project.
Oh.
In our project, I have 404 handling error.
So we should go to account / sign in. Should take us to the sign in page. So I'll do sign up. Should take us to sign up. And if we go to anything else, not found. We should build a home page.
Sign in.
How did you test that?
Account / sign in.
I have it. This is broken on my account, road, JS, that is not defined. What not found.
You didn't include it.
So, Scott, could you briefly just talk about match and path? That's through the whole route component, right? You're like,
Yeah, it's routing information that was passed from the
it's like
parent route.
props for the route.
Yeah. Well, I'm just destructuring props and as they're being passed in
But that always gets passed
from route. Yeah, route is what adds those props or is what adds those properties on your props.
Okay. So path is account.
Yeah, in this case it'll be /account. Yeah.
If you set that in, let me go back to that file. So
Nothing was returned from render. This usually means the return statement was missing or to render nothing.
okay, because we set it as path equals that, and then the
/account.
routes,
Yeah.
account routes is
So then path will be whatever the parent path was.
it makes sense, but it's like
It's a more complex way to do it.
yeah.
But like I said it actually with a large app, it's a lot more maintainable and easier to find stuff.
Because we never really did anything big in
No.
just vanilla JavaScript too, and so it's like it's hard for us to be like.
Yes, it's one of the toughest things with teaching you guys is like not seeing the full picture of like when you start building a truly large app of why all these like weird it's like it feels like it's more work. Well, for a small app it is more work, but for a large app it saves you work.
Yeah, which like,
You got to get past a certain point to see the return on benefit.
I have to return in here. But I have a certain
right.
Scott, as we wrap up here, can you do like a general overview of how things are connected to each other?
Again?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
For just like routing or like the whole thing. What it is.
Like from reducers to
Well, he hasn't.
Well, we haven't done any of that yet.
okay.
That'll be too hard until we start. Once we start using that stuff, that'll be easier to explain. Because right now it would just all be theoretical.
Right now, so we don't have anything. So when's the next time you think you'll be able to work on this? Not tomorrow, right? Because you're teaching React.
Yeah, not tomorrow, but either Wednesday or Friday of next week.
Not Tuesday.
Tuesday's Christmas.
Okay,
So we go to your house on Christmas Eve to do some.
Can you stream?
Yeah, we'll have a Christmas Eve party. Yes, sir. You got it? All good?
I didn't return anything. I forget to do return.
Well, that's because we use parentheses instead of curly brackets. Oh, on the sign up page. Gotcha. I've done that one before too. All right. Really quick. You guys have a couple more minutes?
Yep.
All right, let's really quick. Let's build a nav, and then we'll call it good.
Tree. Stop giving us his time right now.
Tree's always got more important stuff to do than listen to me. All right, in components, we'll make a new folder, and we'll call it nav. And inside of nav, we'll make a new file. We'll call it nav.js. And then we'll also make another new file called package.json.
Tell us how to do this part.
See if I can do it.
I gave you the first hint. You need curly brackets.
Okay.
So we can do these three.
And then
These-
Now, do you have another?
Well, main colon.
Remember, you guys, it's an object. You're building an object,
Colon nav.js.
You're giving it too much to 90% of our.
and then the file name. We'll try again. We'll try again on the next one. I think this was too soon. Too soon.
But that was really cool. Cool too soon.
Cool. Too soon.
One word. Too soon.
Too soon.
Two words.
Little cool too soon, you know?
For our nav, we'll make a class component. So we'll say import. Where are we importing? React. Pull component from React. And then no, and then class nav extends components, and then render return. Tasha, return.
Ah, yeah, I'll turn, but
I'm
I'm
just
not there
fucking- We'll do a nav. And I think in materialize, just doing that, it'll show up. So let's just leave it like blank for now. And then we'll do export defaults nav. For now.
Scott, explain to me one more time why package.json has to be in these folders.
We don't have to have a bunch of index stuff based on our
JS.
files in each one of these, because that'd be like the root file of each. And so he wants to not have to type everything out and import stuff.
And watch this, and watch this. So on the import statement, I could say import nav from nav, and I could just specify the folder name.
And not have to go nav/nav.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make sure import statement's a little bit cleaner. And you could do that if we would just use index files, but if you use index files, then you, like right now, we'd have like 5 index files open across the top, and it gets really confusing of what files you're looking at. It's strictly for development purposes. And if you don't like it, you don't ever have to use it other than in this project.
Yeah.
But you know what the index.js how it like comes like a default.
Yeah.
We're just changing what the default for that folder is.
Gotcha.
Hey, can you go back to nav really quick?
That is it. And then an app above the container div, but inside the other div, we're going to put our nav here.
But you already imported that. We did. So we have to import that now.
Ooh, a nice salmon.
Yeah, it's the nice default.
Yeah.
Materialize. Long with SAS.
Maybe.
Those female developers.
Not even going to comment on that,
No,
man.
just
So not going to comment on that.
I'm not saying that because I'm saying
It's too late, man.
He's not
It's
in
too
a
late, dude.
position
So
as-
too late. So too late.
Scott's the one who made that, okay?
So we could make it a nice color if you want. We could say class name equals some color. You could do a dark theme and make it black.
It's nav is a black one.
Or we could do like gray and then dark and 2. Or like the blue gray is nice too. Blue dash gray.
Like my eyes, yeah. I like that.
To materialize, they made they have a class that's built in for every one of those colors you put in. Oh, that's pretty cool.
You don't remember that time you went on the site? And looked at all
There's
the
a
colors?
bunch of different.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Definitely. So answer question now.
I'll probably just stick with
That's all you're doing.
what color do I want to do it?
You get the,
Yo, dude, it was made by Google, and it's a team of 4 dudes.
Is it?
Yeah.
The main material?
What
They
about
look like
SAS? What about SAS?
Huh?
What
They
about
look like
SAS?
us, man.
Look up SAS because whoever came up with the symbol and everything, it's very.
It's like the vast majority of like.
Well, just whoever made it doesn't mean they did the branding for it.
That's true.
Like for most websites that are coming out nowadays,
Another
they
dude.
like materialize and just bootstrap like.
A dude who
position
didn't
wise.
know how to really do
Someone told me that.
like,
Pretty
CSS,
common.
CSS
Yeah.
design, and
Or some other CSS
Yeah,
library.
Like out of these.
Like
Because, like,
when I first started, I was all about like writing all the CSS myself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I want to do all the. After you build a couple things, you kind of get over writing all that. I mean, unless you're just super into CSS, which I personally am not. So like, I love the CSS libraries, dude. Just fucking slap it in there and throw some classes on stuff, and it looks decent.
And materialize is mostly responsive.
It's very responsive.
Yeah.
We'll do a side nav when we come back.
Yeah, like for like most devices.
Yeah, let's see if we could really quick. Let's see if how can we do this? Let's do state.
Really pausing that video for later. I know this is a good one.
We'll do common. All right, we want that to be an array of objects with path, or how about better yet, 2 equals. Then we want text to be. What else would be common?
We haven't done this before. Have we?
I did it with one of the classes. I don't know if I don't remember which class I did.
Were you involved?
I'll do auth.
Computer wasn't working.
Yeah, I was still Look at me now though.
Lazy.
I don't know what we'd want once you're authorized. Text. Maybe something like, oh, that's just gonna be temporary, but we could do like orders or something. 2 /account /orders.
How am I finding here why we're doing this?
No?
Text, maybe like profile. Actually, that'll be just account.
We have a product page.
Yeah, so in common, something that we want to probably show up all the time. Oops, would be text. That would be oh. 2 / products. And then we could do one more of non-auth. You do text sign in to /account /sign -in. And that one will be going to account /sign -.
So this is like an alternative to, instead of using like fragment, or
No.
you still use fragment.
We might. I don't know yet. Although I've done something similar before, I still am making this up as I go. All right, so then in our nav,
Don't be in a rush.
I gotta go, man. I am in a rush.
Is there a lot of that for which one?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna call it. 'Cause it's still a decent amount.
Other than that, we did nothing, right? So out non-out, that's it, right?
Yep. We have common, home and shop, auth, orders and profile, non-auth, sign in, sign out.
Account sign in.
Internal battle.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, that'll be good enough for the moment. So we're going to continue on this branch when we continue. So for now, you can just go ahead and add commit to it. Since we are stopping, you definitely want to add commit and push. So we'll do git. Actually, make sure you are not in the client folder. So if you're in the client folder, go back a directory. Because if you use add period in the client folder, you won't get any of the server files that were changed. I don't know that we have any server files that were changed right now, but you still have to be careful of that.
Wait, Scott, if I already
Just do it again.
git add,
Just do it again. Back CD back into the root directory and then git add again. Do I have anything that's not? Oh, I do. Okay, so guys, watch this. I get you guys' attention really quick. So if I'm in the client folder and I do git add and I do git status, you'll see untracked files. This is still untracked. And I'm like, well, why is that untracked? Git add still untracked. You can, and then if you look close, there's a ... which means parent directory. So if you ever see that happening, there's two ways to handle it. One, CD up to the parent, or use git add -- all. And then git status. Now everything's added. Okay, because what does a period mean? This directory. Period means this directory always. So when you say git add period, it doesn't mean git add everything. It means git add this directory. -- all does everything inside the repo, the whole repo.
When you git add space ..
Maybe. I don't see why not. It should, because you're telling it a directory to add. You're telling it, you're specifying a directory or a file. So if you did git add ... should work.
Try it out. Just try it out.
I can't tell because already. Oh, here I could do this.
Yeah, go to node mod and do something.
We can grab git status.dot.
It should work. There's no reason why it shouldn't. I'd be much more surprised if it didn't work.
So we commit is what we do.
I'm trying to teach you so you know what to do without asking me.
Yeah, sure.
Ready? Let's try it. Git and dot.
Okay.
Wow.
Because once again, you're just specifying a directory. So that's a dot is a directory.
That you incline now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the root directory and do a git status. Make sure everything's added. So I have one that's not staged when I deleted test. So git status. Okay, everything's good. Now I'm gonna do git commit -m. Say set up webpack or SAS. Set up initial count routes on client. Started nav bar. We should have been committing more. So that was like 3 commits worth of shit that we only got 1 credit for.
Look at all those insertions.
Dude, Tim is so good at remembering to commit. Like whenever he makes pull requests, he always has like 40 fucking commits. I'm like, dude, I wish I could remember to commit that often. I don't ever though. I get like 1 or 2 a day just because I don't ever think about it.
You guys like in a competition?
No. Dude, I have way more than anybody here, but
Just gotta be more committed to it.
yeah. All right, this video, if you're watching it, we'll pick up in part 4. If it's far enough in the future, it probably already exists. Right now, it does not.